tonight, search underway for a 15-year-old girl believed to be trapped under rubble in Shooters Hill, St. Andrew, whose father died following a landslide due to heavy rainfall this morning.
The citizens heard loud crashing. After investigating, after looking, they recognized that Romy, my friend, his house was collapsed. After searching, we recognized that tree had killed him and his daughter went under the mud behind somebody else's house.
Areas of Raytown in Kingston and Cornwall Courts in St. James placed under a special area curfew due to the rise in COVID-19 cases. Still tonight, 3 COVID-19 deaths and 38 COVID-19 cases recorded in the last 24 hours, taking fatalities from the virus to 182, and the total of cases to 8,638. And candidate running for president of the PNP, Mark Golding, nominated at the party's headquarters at Old Hope Road in St. Andrew earlier today. Good evening. A search is now underway for a 15-year-old girl believed to be trapped under the rubble of her house in Shooters Hill, St. Andrew. Her father reportedly died this morning after their house crumbled following a landslide due to ongoing heavy rainfall. Here is Tamara McHale with more on this story.
A frantic search is underway for a teenage girl who is believed to be trapped under the rubble of her house, which crumbled on Friday morning in Shooters Hill, St. Andrew amid heavy rainfall. Her father, who residents only identified as Romy, was reportedly found dead at the scene about 7 a.m. Here is Mr. Romy's friend, Mr. Paul, who gave us an account of what had transpired this morning.
About 7:30, 8 o'clock, the citizens heard loud crashing. After investigating, after looking, they recognized that Romy, my friend, his house was collapsed. A wall from before him, behind his house, came down, crashing into his house and moving his house downwards into somebody else's house below. Where after searching, we recognized that tree had killed him and his daughter went under the mud behind somebody else's house. We are now presently searching to see if we can find the daughter. We found him, but about an hour and change now, we are digging and can't find the daughter. We are still trying to find the daughter. She's under the mud. She's a friend of us. She's a friend of mine. He's a friend of mine. Both of them went to the church together with us at Greenville Seventh-day Adventist Church. And we just lost them, boy. It's a day. It's a two-bedroom boardhouse. Two-bedroom boardhouse. His daughter has one, he has one. And it is placed, it is built or constructed against a dirt wall. A dirt wall that is behind somebody else's place. That is where the wall tear from the other person's premises, coming crashing down into his house.
Mr. Paul describes Romy as a man who loves his daughter and ensures at all times she is well taken care of.
He was at my house the night before, and he was saying, I'm going home to my daughter to see to it that she gets something sensible to eat. And in the morning, we'll wake up and come on for school, because they came to our house for internet service for school. His daughter went to Queens, and he would be preparing around about that time to come up to get charged up and ready for classes. When I saw the thing, I had no tool, I had no cutlass, I had no shovel. I actually had to use the bare hand, the anxiety. My bare hand I used to say, and my son, trying to see if we could dig him out. However, tool came along, but I feel out of place. Both of them, they are my good friends. They are my good friends. She's like my daughter, is like my son. Oh my, it makes me, right now I don't even know what is happening.
Acting Senior Deputy Superintendent in charge of operations at the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Joshua Davis, explained that they responded to the call and came on the scene where the body of Romy was found, and the search of the daughter is ongoing.
We received a call that there was a land slippage at Shooters Hill at about 8:33, something right thereabout. We responded with one unit. When we got here, we saw that an entire side of the entire house was down, right? It was totally demolished. We learned that there was a retaining wall, then the retaining wall went first, then the mud came down, smashed into the house, and the house, the retaining wall, everything came from up the top there where you are just taking the picture and come all the way down here. We have found the body of a male who we learned that his name is Romeo Leachman. He's 42 years old, and we learned also that his daughter was in the house with him. His daughter, Sanika Leachman. That body has not yet been found. She's supposed to be 15 years old, as we learned from the aunt that was here. We are still carrying out our digging process to see if we can locate that body. A lot of residents are assisting us in doing that. So until then, we are going to continue our digging to see if we can recover that body.
Up to news time, the search for the teen is still ongoing. We will bring you more on this story in subsequent newscast. For Mello TV News, I am Tamara McHale.
Still making news tonight, the areas of Raytown in Kingston and Cornwall Courts in St. James are being placed under a special area curfew. Now, this took effect at 6 p.m. today, October 23, and will be in effect until 5 a.m. on Friday, November 6, 2020. The announcement was made in a statement released today by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. He outlined that during curfew hours, only essential workers with identification will be allowed to enter or exit the communities. Additionally, the gathering limit will be no more than 6 persons in any public space for the period. All other existing restrictions, such as the wearing of masks and physical distancing, will be strictly enforced. These two areas, the statement highlighted, have seen an increase in COVID-19 cases, which is of great concern to the health authorities. Therefore, this special measure is to restrict movement of persons to slow or prevent new exposures and hence new infections. There is also concern for the high population density of the two areas identified and the high vulnerability of persons within the areas due to age, severe illnesses, comorbidities, and other socio-economic factors. The health department will be conducting activities in this area such as additional testing and a close monitoring of members of the communities for development of symptoms. Additionally, there will be enhanced monitoring and enforcement of the Disaster Risk Management Order in the business district of Montego Bay St. James. Special attention will be given to markets, supermarkets, transportation centers, banks, and business places. In other news tonight, the death toll from COVID-19 in Jamaica increased by 3, and 38 newly confirmed COVID-19 cases were recorded in the last 24 hours. Now, this takes the latest fatalities from COVID-19 to 182, and the total of cases on record to 8,638. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the deceased are 2 males aged 77 and 88, both from St. James, and a 91-year-old female from St. Anne. Of the newly confirmed cases, 30 are females and 7 are males, with the gender classification in 1 case awaiting confirmation. The cases range in age from 9 to 85 years. Kingston and St. Andrew recorded 24 cases, St. Catherine and Trelawney recorded 5 cases each, and Clarendon recorded 1 case. The parish classification of 3 of the cases is unknown. There are 19 moderately ill and 8 critically ill patients among the 4,186 active cases now under observation in Jamaica. Recoveries increased by 61, taking the total of recovered persons to 4,156. In news from Hanover, the Court Administration Division, CAD, wishes to advise the public that the Hanover Family Court will reopen on October 27. Now, the CAD says the court was closed today to allow the court time to effect changes to its operations as a result of positive COVID-19 tests. The Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Hanover Health Department have activated their protocols, and contact tracing is currently taking place. Members of the public can contact the CAD at 876-613-8907 or via email at customerservice@cad.gov.jm for further information. In other news tonight, there has been heavy rainfall across the island over the last few days, which the Meteorological Service says is due to a persistent trough of low pressure across the Western Caribbean. Here is Ophelia Miller with more on this story.
The Meteorological Service has upgraded the flash flood watch to a flash flood warning for low-lying and flood-prone areas of St. Mary, Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon and Manchester. Continued the flash flood watch for low-lying and flood-prone areas of all other parishes: Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland, effective until 5 p.m. Saturday. Projections are for cloudy conditions with periods of showers and thunderstorms, which could be heavy at times to continue across all sections of all parishes, especially across the southern and northeastern parishes, today and through to Sunday. Strong gusty winds in the vicinity of thunderstorms are likely, especially over southern parishes, today through to Sunday. I'm Ophelia Miller, reporting for Mello TV News.
In the meantime, with the country expected to be affected by heavy rainfall until Sunday, the National Works Agency, NWA, is warning motorists that driving conditions could deteriorate along several corridors. The NWA, in a statement earlier today, says there have been reports of flooding, landslides, fallen trees, and rockfall along roadways in St. Andrew and St. Thomas. The agency's communications manager, Mr. Stephen Shaw, says he expects these incidents to increase as the island continues to be affected by the inclement weather. Meanwhile, the Bull Bay Main Road, also in St. Andrew, has been rendered impassable at points due to flooding, in particular at 7 and 10 miles. The NWA says motorists should avoid using the corridor. It said landslides and fallen trees are affecting movement along the roadway to Hagley's Gap, Mahogany Vale and Penline Castle in St. Thomas. The NWA further stated it is not safe for motorists to attempt accessing Trinityville using the temporary detour at the Fonthill crossing as the area is severely flooded. The condition of the roadways in Windsor Forest, Loudon Hill and Cane River St. Andrew are being monitored as there have been reports of falling rocks, flooding and landslides in the areas. Continuing with the news tonight, the second candidate running for the presidency of the People's National Party, PNP, Mark Golding, was nominated at the PNP's headquarters at Old Hope Road in St. Andrew earlier today. The heavy rainfall did not dampen the excitement as the South St. Andrew Member of Parliament entered the facility with a vociferous throng of supporters. He was officially nominated at approximately 12 p.m. and after going through the process, including paying the $100,000 fee, it was official. He now joins Southeast St. Anne's Member of Parliament Lisa Hanna as the two candidates who have entered the race to take over from Dr. Peter Phillips as president when the delegates of the party cast their ballots on November 7. Ms. Hanna was nominated on Wednesday. At Golding's nomination today, he received support from close friends and business partners such as Peter Bunting, campaign director Angela Brown-Burke, and other senior comrades on his team who gathered at the nearby Unity Church before making the trek together to the PNP's headquarters to complete the nomination process. In news from St. James, a firearm and several rounds of ammunition were seized in Ban Lane, Paradise, Norwood yesterday. No one was arrested in connection with the seizure. Reports from the Montego Hills Police coming into our news center tonight are that between the hours of 2:50 p.m. and 3:40 p.m., a team of officers conducted an operation in the community where an unoccupied house was searched. Now, during the search, a Gunsmoke Enterprise M15 rifle and 15 rounds of ammunition, a mixture of 5.56 and .223 rounds, were found buried in the ground at the rear of the premises, wrapped in a clear plastic bag. The firearm and ammunition were seized. Investigations are ongoing. Back in the capital, detectives attached to the Kingston Eastern Police charged 18-year-old Jamarly Palmer, otherwise called Ziggy, of Mountain View Avenue, Kingston 2, with murder, conspiracy to murder, and illegal possession of firearm and ammunition following an incident on October 3. Deceased is 26-year-old Siobhan Hall of Mountain View Avenue, Kingston 2. Reports coming into our news center are that at approximately 8:30 p.m., Palmer went to Hall's house and opened gunfire at him after Palmer made a demand from Hall, which was not met. The police were summoned and Hall was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Palmer was subsequently arrested and taken into custody during an operation on Tuesday, October 13, and charged on Wednesday, October 21. His court date is being finalized. In news from St. Mary, the new Barracks River Bridge in the parish was officially opened on Wednesday by the Minister without Portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Everald Warmington. The bridge has been constructed at a cost of over $34 million and can now accommodate single-lane traffic. It replaces the previous Barracks River footbridge that was destroyed during the heavy rainfall and flooding some time ago. Councillor for the Richmond Division and Mayor of Port Maria, Richard Creary, said the entire community is happy about the construction of the new bridge, and based on its solid base, he does not believe that they will need another bridge in their lifetime. Continuing with the news tonight, 16 schools at the infant, primary and junior high levels have received internet service equipment. This will allow them better access to educational broadcasts coordinated by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. The current installation schedule is targeting 100 of the neediest schools as a priority. Among the schools that have received internet installations are Moores Primary and Freetown Primary in Clarendon, Alva Primary and Infant, Chalky Hill All Age, Aboukir Primary in St. Anne, and Denhamtown Primary in Kingston. The project to install equipment in 100 schools should be completed in another 2 to 3 weeks. Teachers and students are strongly encouraged to use a combination of these various approaches to enable them to have a successful teaching and learning experience. And those were the stories making news. I am Shelley Ann Hill. We'll now take a break and then join Christopher Scott with sports.